Jets Overtime presented by Duncan, Eric Allen, and Eric Coleman here inside the BetMGM studio. In just a moment, we will be joined by Anthony Becht. But out of the gate here, Eric, the New York Jets fall to 0-5 for the first time since 1996. It was a one-sided affair against the Arizona Cardinals. The Cards come to New Jersey and take home a 30-10 win.
Yeah, it was a game of missed opportunities for the Jets. You know, I saw a lot of drop passes. There were opportunities to continue drives, to score touchdowns, put points on the board, and the Jets just could not make the plays. Arizona, on the other side, they did make the plays. DeAndre Hopkins made several plays, and, you know, when you make more plays than the other team, you win most of the time. Kyla Murray was all over the field, running the football, throwing the football, and, you know, the Jets really – I thought they had a great game plan coming into this game. Defensively, they got off the field early in the first half. They had that missed opportunity with the long run with the misfit. But other than that, the Jets were still in this game in the first half. In the second half, that's when the Cardinals separated. The mistakes caught up to the Jets, the drop passes, the missed opportunities. You can't have that if you want to win a game.
So thank you for correcting me, because I did say it was a one-sided affair. It was in terms of the way it ended, Anthony. The Jets did have opportunities in the first half, but we saw things come back to bite them that have so far throughout the 2020 season, most notably offensively. 1 of 7 on third down in the first half. Also 0 of 2 inside the red zone. Eric brought up those chances. This could have been a different game early.
Yeah, you're right. You know, we talked about it in the pregame show about starting fast, and you know, first 3 series, really in the first quarter, you punt each time. 6 possessions in the first half, 4 punts, 1 on downs. The 1 on downs was your critical drive because that's where you're putting together a little bit of offense. You're finally getting into the groove. You get 3rd and 1, then 4th and 1. You know you're going to go for it on 4th down if you don't get it, and they weren't able to convert. And again, it comes down to execution on 4th down, making the key block, and there's a free hitter, and you get stopped on that 4th down. So when you're talking about, you know, what this Jet team had to do to come out in this game is you had to have some you know, balance between offense and defense. They have to help each other out. And if you don't score points or do anything early on to put pressure on the Cardinals, then it gets to be a tougher deal for the defense when you're talking about defending a guy like Kyla Murray.
Eric, we always talk about playing complementary football, and the Jets had those chances. 3rd and 1, Trayvon Wesco gets a handoff. He's stuffed in the backfield. 4th and 1. Wesco actually lined up at fullback there. Le'Veon Bell is stopped for no gain. But the defense gave the offense a lift. Neville Hewitt deflects a Kyler Murray pass. Avery Williamson takes it to the 10-yard line. The Jets have a 1st and goal, and then a real tough break. You take a delay game penalty, Joe Flacco being the quarterback there, and you have to settle for 3.
Yeah, that was disappointing, you know, to see the Jets defense apply that pressure to the Cardinals, come up with the turnover, get the ball back to the offense, you know, on the 10-yard line. You come out of the huddle, you come up with a great play, and then it's a delay of game. Then you end up not punching the ball into the end zone. Those opportunities are ones you have to capitalize on. The Jets defense, you know, they had 1 turnover today. I thought that they were playing solid in that first half, and it was just disappointing to see the offense not be able to convert that to a touchdown.
Anthony, the final numbers here, the Arizona Cardinals roll up 496 yards of offense. The Jets had 285 total yards. With that being said, it's 17-10 in the 3rd quarter. The Jets had just got into the end zone on a connection between Joe Flacco and Jameson Crowder, and they have the Cardinals in a 4th and 1 situation on their side of the field. On their side of the 50. What happened there on the 4th and 1?
Yeah, they kind of baited the Jets, and Eric can break this down on the responsibilities, but Marcus May was manned up, head up over the tight end on the away from the slot side. So the tight end on the right's by himself, and then there's a defender on the line of scrimmage that obviously is playing the rush and going to the quarterback. The rule in general in that defense is that man-to-man defender up on the face, which is Marcus May. If he sees the tight end block on 4th down, which he did, he's going to come and he's going to rush. Well, Cardinals having a really good game plan, understanding what happens on that, took a chance and said, okay, we're going to slam block release, bait May to come down and take his eyes off of the tight end and have him rush and then time it up and try to get the tight end up the sideline. That's what happened. And just well designed. And Marcus May's playing what the defense is telling him to play. But in that position there, you either have two choices as that defender over the tight end. You're aggressive when you see block, or you just stay manned up and just, stay with him regardless if he's blocking. Again, May's just trying to fill his responsibilities, and they kind of schemed up a pretty good play there.
The reason why I'm bringing up these specific plays, guys, is you have an opportunity for a different game if you convert these chances. I mean, the Jets had just scored a touchdown in the second half in the third quarter. If you get the ball there, you're going in, you're at the 39-yard line. So Anthony just broke it down, and he said that Eric would be able to provide further analysis on that because you have played that spot before, being a safety in the box who's got responsibilities. What's happening there between Marcus May and Jordan Jenkins?
Well, the big deal is you're trying to create a look of all guys on the line of scrimmage. You want to confuse the quarterback. He doesn't know if you're blitzing, if you're in coverage. You line up as a safety, head up over that tight end. Jordan Jenkins is outside. Now, the responsibility goes, if the guy runs vertical, if he releases for a pass, Marcus May has him. If the guy blocks, if the tight end blocks Marcus May, then he has him. But what they did, they looked on film, they schemed the Jets. They saw that if Jordan Jenkins, if he's blocked, that's his responsibility. Now that's his man. But Jordan, seeing that he was getting blocked, he tried to beat the tight end, and he released. It was just a great play, great game plan on 4th and 1. A lot of credit to Cliff Kingsbury in that offense on scheming up the Jets and getting one on 4th down.
All right, let's go back to MetLife Stadium right now and go to the virtual podium and hear from head coach Adam Gase.
I mean, biggest thing is defense did a good job in the first half. Kept it tight. I thought they did a really good job of keeping Kyler in the pocket and making it tough on him. They played good up front, for a long time, and we couldn't play complementary football on offense. I mean, we had opportunities in the red zone, and we have a 3rd and 4th and 1. We get an interception, and we're not getting anything out of that. And it's too much for us to overcome. And then we get to 17-10, and then get them to 4th and 1, and then, they convert and then end up scoring and put the game out of reach. So, yeah, I mean, we got to go back to work. We got to get, we got to learn from this film. We got to figure out a way to play, a full 60 minutes. And we need all three phases, playing well together. It's just like one side's playing well, the other side's not. Then we finally start getting something going, and then we fall apart on the other side and just not giving ourselves a chance.
You are watching Jets Overtime, presented by Duncan, Eric Allen, and Eric Coleman inside the BetMGM studio. We are joined, as always, by Anthony Becht as well. Eric, what did you make of the Jets' defensive effort today? I talked about the interception that Avery Williamson had. They got their hands on a few balls. We saw John Franklin Myers get a sack of Kyla Murray, but Murray had a career passing day, 380 yards. And the other thing is, DeAndre Hopkins was quiet for most of this game, but then you look at the stat sheet, he's got 6 catches for 131 yards and the 1 touchdown.
Well, I mean, overall, I thought the Jets came out pretty strong at the beginning of the game. They did give up the big play on the run to, I believe it was Drake, up the middle. There was a misfit by a couple of the players and led to a big play. And then you add the big plays in the passing game, driving the ball down the field to DeAndre Hopkins, leaving him in man-to-man coverage. Listen, he's one of the best players in the NFL. You leave him one-on-one against a guy who you just promoted from the practice squad. That's what's going to happen. He's going to get beat routinely. Kyler Murray, I thought he showed a lot of command for his offense. He ran it well. He took shots down the field. He was composed. He ran the ball when he was pressured. So I think the Jets' effort is not the problem. This team is working hard. They didn't have the senseless penalties today, but they did give up a few big plays. They allowed Arizona to continue to keep the chains moving, and in the run game, they never really had an answer. It's a tough deal for the Jets. You go out there, you coach, you put in a game plan, and see the players going out there working. And sometimes the guys on the other team are just better. And DeAndre Hopkins was better today.
You mentioned the long run. That was Edmonds, of course. He got the Cardinals on the board 7-0. And then later in the game, Drake powered in from the one, and Murray had a rushing touchdown as well. So the Cardinals had 3 separate players score on the ground. Anthony, I want to flip to the other side of the ball. Joe Flacco, 18 of 33 for 195 with the 1 touchdown. What did you make of his first performance again in green and white? Sam Darnold did not play because he's out with the shoulder injury, and Flacco hasn't played an NFL game since Week 8 of last year with the Denver Broncos. I should correct myself. This is his first start since Week 8 last year.
Yeah, I thought he did a pretty solid job. First series he misses a rollout play that would have extended the drive on a first down, but started to settle in quite a bit. I mentioned that Jameson Crowder was going to have a big performance because I thought he was going to lean on him in the game, and he did. Everybody knows Jameson's going to get the football throughout the game, and he still finds ways to get open. I think it's a matter of the passing game as more people have to come to the party. And what I mean that is, a little more consistent play from some of the other receivers and tight ends. Chris Herndon, the only reason why Jameson Crowder scores a touchdown is Chris Herndon drops a ball that would have been an easy walk-in for him for the touchdown. He needs to step up his play. Jeff Smith, again, a guy that showed great promise last week against the Broncos. He comes back and just kind of not on. A couple nice balls down the field late in the game. Joe Flacco places a couple long ones down there and just not able to hold on to the ball. They're tough catches, absolutely. Is that what you need to beat teams like the Arizona Cardinals and stay in those games? You do, because they can score so fast. But then again, it's a product of not having your starters out there. Crowder's the only true starter on the team that's playing, and then of course outside of Herndon. So those 2 guys have to, man up and take the responsibilities. And right now, it's just Crowder and anybody else who can sporadically get in, and that's a problem when you're a quarterback because you got to have variety. If you don't, defenses can hone in, and it puts you at risk, really, on the defensive or the offensive side.
You feel bad for Jameson Crowder because he became the 7th different Jets-Titans pass catcher to go over 100 yards 3 consecutive games. And he's the first player in franchise history to do it with 2 starting quarterbacks,
Wow, I mean, that's impressive. That's consistency by Crowder. And, you just wish that you had the other guys, Rashad Perriman,
Denzel
Denzel
Mims is
Mims.
still out.
I would love to see Denzel Mims. I've yet to see him, perform in practice, run a route, do anything. So it's going to be nice to have him back out on the field as well.
Vincent Smith is
Vincent
still out.
Smith, yeah, and I would love to get some production out of Chris Herndon. I know he had the big drop today that probably would have led to a touchdown, a first down for sure. And you got to think that he's in his head right now. Hopefully he'll be able to come out of it and get back to being the player he was 2 years ago.
Anthony, what do you think is happening with Chris Herndon right now? His rookie season, I believe, 39 receptions. He had the 4 touchdowns. He's been described as a unicorn by head coach Adam Gase, and they're really high on his athletic ability. And this is a kid who cares deeply about the game. Obviously, he missed all last season. Do you see it being a question of confidence right now?
Yeah, it's just focus, getting dialed in. Chris doesn't get a ton of targets in the game. They're sporadic. Anytime you have a tight end that's, you're trying to develop and really show out, especially as we all know in your 3rd year, that's when you have to take it to the next level. You got to have opportunities and targets throughout the game. Chris Herndon to me is a guy that needs to have balls thrown his way at least twice a quarter. And, when he goes a quarter and a half, not touching the ball, there's a focus there. And that's just a common deal with a lot of players, but he does have tremendous upside. It's just a matter of allowing him to be part of it. And also on Chris's side, in order to get those targets, you have to get open. You have to be a technician in your route running. You have to be able to beat your matchup that's against you so that your quarterback has an option. I mean, there may have been opportunities for him to get more targets in the game that were schemed up, but defense could have taken it away. And again, not seeing the film yet, I wouldn't be able to make that assessment. But to me, that's how it should look from a play calling standpoint when you're talking about a guy like Chris, is getting him involved early in the game.
Jameson Crowder was targeted 10 times this afternoon. He had 8 catches for 116 yards and a touchdown. Let's go back to MetLife Stadium because Olivia Landis is standing by with Jameson Crowder.
Team reporter Olivia Landis here with wide receiver Jameson Crowder. Jameson, fifth loss for the Jets today, but offensively, there was a little bit more progression. You yourself had a 116-yard game. This is the third game this season that you have had over 100 receiving yards. What do you attribute some of your success to?
I mean, it's a lot. I just think that I'm just trying to be a valuable option for the quarterback. Uh, I just think also too that we're not really as a team, playing good team ball, and we're getting down, we're getting behind in the games. We're not really on offense. We're not, taking advantage of the opportunity. So we're having to, throw the football. So I think it's multiple things that's factoring into that. But like I said, I'm just trying to be a valuable weapon for the quarterback and just make plays, and hopefully we can get a win.
You mentioned the team not necessarily playing good team football. Offensively, what does that mean? What steps can the offense take to fix that?
Well, I mean, I think the main thing is being able to put the ball in the end zone. I mean, I know that's the name of the game, but we had opportunities where we got down in the red zone. The defense did a really good job of taking the football away and setting us up, in the red zone, and we just couldn't capitalize. We can't have those. We can't just have, we can't let those opportunities go to waste. Whenever we get turnovers and we're in the red zone, we can score. We have to put the ball in the end zone. So. I think that's the main thing right now. It's been like that these last few games. We get down to the red zone and can't score. So that's really what's killing us right now offensively.
Along with the red zone struggles, there have also been some struggles offensively on third down conversions. The team was just 4 of 13 on third downs today. I know you talked about you guys knowing what it is needs to be fixed. Now, what does this team have to do to get it fixed?
I mean, we just gotta just make the plays. It was a few times that I felt like I should have, been a better player and just got the first down, especially early in the game where I kind of got flipped up side down. I thought I had the first, but came up short. But we just gotta, just lock in, and when we know it's third down, we gotta be able to, whatever's called, just get it right so we can convert, and just keep the drive going.
Jameson, you're one of the veterans on this team. What is one of your messages to keep the energy positive and to keep people turning the page?
We gotta just get better. Just be better, man. Just as an individual. We all gotta look ourselves in the mirror and just see what it is that we're not doing right from an individual standpoint, and then just come and collectively find out what it is, and then just be better. That's all I can say. We just gotta be better across the board, and that's all aspects and all phases of the game.
Thank you, Jameson. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
We're watching Jets Overtime presented by Duncan, Eric Allen alongside Eric Coleman. In just a moment, we will bring back Anthony Beck. But first, I want to go to the other side of the ball. Jameson Crowder continues to produce for the New York Jets offensively. How tough of an assignment was that for Lamar Jackson today? Because the undrafted free agent out of Nebraska got valuable snaps against the Denver Broncos on Thursday Night Football. But today he saw an awful lot DeAndre Hopkins, and you can make the argument that Hopkins is as good as anybody in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, one of the top receivers in the NFL for years. DeAndre Hopkins is as the best hands in the league. He has great focus. He judges the ball well when it's in the air, and it's tough for any cornerback on your roster to take him man-to-man. There haven't been too many guys around the league who've been able to stop him. The way you stop him, you double team him. You take him out of the game. You put a safety over top of him, put a corner underneath, give him some help. But I understand that Greg Williams is trying to create some pressure. He's trying to give the Arizona Cardinals a different look. Probably brought in the safety to spy the quarterback a few times because he can gash you with his legs. So it's kind of like pick your poison playing against the Arizona Cardinals. They have a lot of ways that they can beat you. Kyla Murray is one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the NFL with his feet. And listen, it's a tough assignment. And sometimes you have to hold your own. Lamar Jackson coming off of practice squad. You still have to go out there and compete and go out there and make plays. I thought he was in great position on the last deep ball that DeAndre Hopkins, he caught for that touchdown. And at some point in time, this guy gets paid a little more money than you. It's above your pay grade, and he's going to make plays.
Anthony, was it pick your poison on defense, as Eric Coleman just articulated? Because there were a number of times you would watch the Jets' defensive tackles, and it wasn't a typical interior pass rush because they were so concerned about the feet of Kyler Murray. And Eric just said it as well. You saw the Jets in a lot of situations today where they were at least trying to spy Kyler Murray.
Yeah, just off, from the TV copy, just seeing is, they were rushing two interior defensive linemen were basically playing two gap, which means they're driving back their guy and just trying to, see the quarterback on both sides and make sure that if he comes through, that they're there to shut that gap down. That's tough. That's a tough ask because you got your two outside guys rushing and they don't want to rush past Kyler Murray, but they still need to push the pocket and press it in. Then there were times when they rushed three, even two. And, I think from Eric's perspective, I'd love to know is, the advantage of that, because for me, it's like, yeah, you want to have a young quarterback throw in, try to find those zones that are all covered up with defensive players. But at the same token, he gets a ton of time and he can run. So it's kind of a counter, let's pick your poison, like you mentioned. It really didn't pay off at all because when you tried to blitz, he'd get you with his legs or his arm and his receiver made a big play. And if you didn't blitz him and you tried to just kind of two gap it and space it out, he was able to find holes because of the time that he had and receivers running free. You can only cover areas for so long until someone gets open. So that's where the offense comes in and they have to score and put points on the board to make it a little more efficient and favorable for the defense they were trying to accomplish.
Your thoughts there, Eric?
Yeah, I agree with them. That it's important to put up points when you're playing against an offense like this. You want to make them one-dimensional. You want to force them. You want to force their hand and make them to where they have to pass the ball. They can't run the ball, mix things up on offense. There's so many different things you can do with this air raid attack. It's all about spacing. You drop 8 defenders at times, and you don't get a pass rush. You leave Kyler Murray back there for 5-6 seconds, and I guarantee you, after 5 seconds, an NFL receiver is going to get open against any cornerback. So it's a tough situation. You have to put up points against an Arizona team. You have to, try to come out and impose your will defensively. Yeah, the only way that you're going to get pressure on these guys is to get it with your front four. You're going to have to get the defensive line active, getting after the quarterback, because you need so many defenders back in coverage. So it's a tough deal for defense, but that's the I guess the dilemma that this offense presents to you.
The ball distribution for the Cardinals today, Kyler Murray completed passes to 9 different receivers. I talk about DeAndre Hopkins leading the way with the 6 catches, but Christian Kirk had 5 catches. Larry Fitzgerald had 4 catches. Go down the list. He was spreading the ball out. Anthony, let's flip it back to the offensive side of the ball. Le'Veon Bell was on injured reserve from weeks 2 through 4. We saw him a little bit against the Buffalo Bills. What do you make of Le'Veon today? 13 carries, I believe, 60 yards, just 1 catch out of the backfield.
Yeah, look, he's a dual threat. So, not only is he a guy that you want running the football, you want to get him involved in the pass game as well. Just 1 target in a game, to me, maybe a couple more chances for him, maybe flex him out, let him get out in space, catch the football, some screens, something to just give him more opportunities. He looked good to me. There was a time I think he ran the ball, 4 or 5 straight times in an early series, probably the 3rd or 4th series of the game, and you're thinking, man, he's got some juice, he's got some pop. Let's see what else he can do. But really never evolved in anything from a passing standpoint. So, he looked well. He looked like he was fighting. There was a lot of effort from him. He's a player that when you watch, you never worry about him. He doesn't care about scoreboards. He doesn't care about records. He's trying to go out there and win and give the maximum effort every single snap, and that's what you get from Bell. But I think his abilities and his options will increase, I think, game to game, just because you don't want to completely pound them. I'm sure he's frustrated. He wants to be a part of the offense more. He wants to get the ball more. But again, you got to be cautious. I want him to be here, for the rest of the season, and you don't want anything to happen because you're overusing him right out the gate.
Adam Gase said something interesting, Eric, after the game. He said defensively, Vance Joseph was bringing his safeties down. So he didn't necessarily love that matchup with the running back on a safety as compared to you get Le'Veon Bell on a linebacker, forget about it.
Absolutely. Le'Veon's one of those players who's athletic enough to beat a linebacker in coverage. So that's a great matchup. That's a favorable matchup for you. But when you bring down a Budda Baker, you bring down Thompson down in coverage, that's going to favor the defense. So you have to find other ways. That's why it's important for other players to step up. Le'Veon's success is not strictly based on Le'Veon. It lies on the other players catching balls on third down to continue drives. You can't continue to dedicate yourself to the run if you're going 3 and out. If you're in 2nd and 15, you're having penalties. You have to continue drives and find ways to get the ball down the field and eventually take a few shots to loosen up that defense. So Le'Veon's success, you feel bad for him. You know he wants to be out there contributing, being a big asset to this offense. But his success can only take you so far. You need other guys to step up as well.
Joe Flacco completed 18 of 33 today for 195 yards with the one scoring pass to Jameson Crowder. Let's hear from him. Flacco standing by at the virtual podium.
Curtis, how did you feel like you played today? And how did it feel to be back out there?
Well, it felt great to be back out there. I felt like a lot of the little things, there was a handful of plays where some little things got away from me. The play clock, some different motions, stuff like that, just operational. I felt like I was a little off on those for whatever reason.
Joe, what happened on the delay coming right off the turnover there where you got the ball deep in their territory?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know. I felt like it was one of those where we broke the huddle and got up to the line, and it didn't seem like we were – I lost track of the time. I mean, it didn't seem like we were at the point yet where I would be thinking about the play clock. I just we got on the field, I got the play, called it, and got out there, and the next thing you know, I was blowing the whistle on me. So that's one of the things I was talking about, just, that's day one stuff, so it can't happen.
Hey, Joe, on the 3rd and 4th and 1s there down on the 13 where you got stopped, can you talk about that sequence, what happened, and just how maddening is that when you're just trying to get into the end zone for a change?
Well, I think we had a decent amount of long drives today, and at some point, we just beat ourselves in those drives. With a team that's like us that's struggling right now to get things going, it's good. It's in a way good to see those long drives and keeping ourselves in the field and converting first downs. But at the same time, we just haven't been able to get out of our own way. At some point, we make a mistake that kind of kills the drive, and I think that's kind of what happened on 3rd and 4th down. I mean, we're gonna have to go back and watch it. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head exactly, but I just know that we've been doing something along the way to kind of shoot ourselves in the foot.
What is the level of frustration? I mean, obviously this is your first game back playing here, but just in general, you guys have had a lot of difficulties getting to the end zone. And just, how much does it start piling up a little bit?
Well, yeah, I mean, come on. I think, we've played 5 weeks now. We haven't won a game. So I think you can guess what the level of frustration is in the locker room. But, that's why this game is played at this level by grown men. And, we have to look ourselves in the mirror and keep our heads up and do the same things with each other.
Despite those.
Less at Dunkin' with a $1 medium hot coffee with a sandwich purchase. America runs on Dunkin'. Participation may vary. Exclusions apply. Limited time offer. You are watching Jets Overtime presented by Dunkin'. It's time to look at some changes to the Jets schedule as the league continues to combat COVID. Here you go. You got a number of changes here. Week 6, the Jets were originally scheduled to be in LA next week, but they are going to be facing Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Miami Dolphins, a 4:05 start. Then their bye week has moved up from weeks 11 to week 10, and then they will actually see the Chargers late in the season so that game moves from week 6 to week 11. So first things first, Eric, Jets, Dolphins next week in South Florida. And as we are in the studio right now, Ryan Fitzpatrick is having his way with the San Francisco 49ers. That is not going to be an easy game. No game will be for the New York Jets. But what is next up for this team is the Dolphins.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe the Jets, you have to continue to put drives together. You can't beat yourself. You heard Joe Flacco talking about, trying to extend drives, trying to have long drives, but finding a way to shoot themselves in the foot. They're going to have to find a way to score in the red zone and put up some points if you want to beat the Dolphins.
I'm sorry. I'm so excited for next week's game. I was ready to jump you right there. But let's go back to MetLife Stadium and hear from Ethan Greenberg because I think he's standing by with Jet safety Marcus Mack.
Now joined by Jet safety Marcus May. Marcus, from a defensive perspective, how do you feel like today went, or what did you think went wrong today, should I say?
It was all right. We had some good moments, but we just got to find a way to put it all together. There were some bright spots. We got off the field a couple times on third down. We just got to find a way to keep stacking those good plays.
For Kyla Murray, he was more effective with his arm today, but not so much his legs. What was the game plan going into today on how to neutralize Kyla Murray on the ground?
Just keep him in the pocket as much as you can. And I feel like our D-line and game plan did a pretty good job of that. We just got to make the plays when the ball's in the air.
Is it hard to get pressure on somebody when you want to contain somebody in the pocket like that? Because typically you wouldn't send as many blitzers.
Yeah, it's a give and take because if you bring everybody, then you got everybody on the back end. But if you just keep him in the pocket, then he has time to look downfield. So you gotta find a way to keep him off balance.
Where does this defense go from here moving forward now, Marcus? I feel like the first quarter of the season, you guys knew what you had to key in on, and then today kind of slipped through the cracks. So where does this defense go from here, and how do you make sure you guys don't get down on one another?
Just continue to be positive, continue to show up to work every day with the right mindset to get better. Just continue to communicate with each other, continue to support each other. That's all we think we can do.
Last week, one of the big storylines was the penalties of this defense. Not a lot of penalties today. I don't think any personal fouls. What went into the practice week, and how do you feel like you guys did today in that area?
Pretty good. Penalties was a big emphasis this week. We had a few here and there, but nothing that really hurt us. Just got to continue to get them off our radar. That's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Marcus. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
You are watching Jets Overtime presented by Duncan. Eric Allen alongside Eric Coleman inside the BetMGM studio. Anthony Becht with us as always. Anthony, Marcus May seemed dejected there, and he's got every right to be. This team is 0-5. How worried are you about the locker room right now? Because the work is being put in throughout the week, and you have to be professional. These guys are paid to do these jobs, but they're not getting the results on Sunday.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Nobody wants to lose football games. You put a lot of work and effort in. There wasn't an off season together as a team, but these guys personally, Zoom meetings, regimen training on their own, trying to get themselves prepared as possible. And then when you get together, really trying to put things even more together with the time that you have. And in training camp, you feel like you should be rewarded for that. Nobody wants to go out there and suffer losses, but at the same token, they're riding some waves. These are big waves with injuries and guys out, and guys not playing because of COVID. Deciding to opt out. You are going against the grain on this thing. Is it an excuse? No, but it does make that the ability to get over that wave a little tougher throughout the season. And then you sprinkle in everything else. You got a backup quarterback who's in his first game for a long time, trying to generate points, but you can't be too aggressive because you're relying on players that don't have the snaps and the reps behind their belt and the experience in the situations that you want them to be successful in. So, I get it. It's frustrating, but you're a pro, you're getting paid to do your job. And with Marcus and anybody else on that football team, you compete, you come out, you throw away the record when you get on the field in your next game. You go into work, you shake it off, you correct your mistakes, and you learn and you get yourself better and prepare for the next game. And that's really the only thing you can control as a player, and hopefully that pays off for you, and you can put together a game and win.
Anthony, good insight as always. Enjoy your evening down there in Tampa. Eric, are you worried about the guy's confidence? Because Joe Flacco, he's been through it all in the National Football League, 35 years old, a former Super Bowl winning quarterback who was the MVP of that game. He's got 98 career regular season wins on his resume, has won 10 games in the postseason. He said, you got to make sure that the guys do keep their confidence in times like this.
Yeah, and it's extremely hard. I've been on a 4-12 team, and when you're not winning games, you're going out there and putting in the work, you're watching film, you're doing extra after practice. It can get frustrating when you don't get the end result, when you don't come home with W's. So for the young guys, it's specifically tough because, you're trying to overwork, you're trying to find your way out, dig your way out, and then now in the game, you're reaching for plays and you're trying to overcompensate, and that's going to make things worse. So I think the veterans in this locker room have to continue to look out for the young guys, continue putting in the work, continue to stay positive, and sooner or later, things are going to start to turn in the right direction.
Yeah, sooner or later, hopefully things do indeed change in the right direction. But the Jets start the second quarter of their schedule with the loss 30-10 to the Arizona Cardinals. They are now 0-5 for the first time since 1996. We'd like to thank Ethan Greenberg, Olivia Landis, Anthony Becht, of course, and my partner in crime here inside the BetMGM studio. That, of course, is Eric Coleman. Enjoy your evening.